I'm Luke Manson, and this is the Kiwistyle podcast. Here I talk to my friends in the New Zealand hardcore and metal scene about what they've been up to and what they're gonna get up to. I'm the singer of the band Xile, and I've been playing in New Zealand hardcore bands non-stop for the last 18 years. And in that time, I made a lot of good friends, and right here is where I'm going to share those stories. Today on the pod, I've got Jared and Ethan from the Auckland band Amanaki. We talk about their fourth EP, Embers, which comes out on July 19th. They've released 2 singles, Hypocrite Part 2 last week, and we talk about their first single release and making their video for their single Money Man. Check it out. Let's go.
All
right, boys. Welcome to the podcast. Jared and Ethan from Amanaki. How you doing?
Good to be here.
Nice. Yeah. Welcome to the Kiwistyle podcast. All right, we'll jump straight into it. You guys have got a new EP coming out.
Yeah, we do.
At the end in July?
Yep.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Go, Jared.
July 19th, Embers comes out. It's our 4th 7-track EP. And we've already dropped Money Man earlier on in the year. That was our first single.
With New Zealand on air funding.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh,
very good. Ooh,
steered on the barrel of the camera.
Thank you, New Zealand on it. And then we just dropped our second single a couple weeks ago, Hypocrite Part 2.
Yeah.
And then we're dropping Consequences next week on July 4th. And then the whole EP comes out July 19th. Yeah.
True. So I've already got the Consequences t-shirt.
Yeah. So we
so
kind
you dropped
of
that merch like real early.
Yeah,
the EP's not
yeah.
called Consequences.
No,
and none of the singles were.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, a bit of a funny story. We just kind of almost ran out of merch, and we were like, do we reprint the old merch or do we print something new?
Yeah.
And we were kind of sick of the old stuff, so we were like, let's get something new.
Yeah.
We were like, we've been playing the song live, so like kind of counts.
Oh yeah.
But it was a bit of a cheeky move.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Man, you guys are pumping out new music. That's sick.
Yeah.
The Money Man video clip was awesome.
Yeah, featuring Bones.
Yeah, we were stoked on that. It came out so good.
Yeah.
We the whole set was, because Jared and I worked together, the whole set was in our workshop area, so it's always funny to walk back into work and go, oh yeah, this is where Money Man was shot. So yeah, we were stoked with it.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Were all your workmates watching you film it?
There was a job that came like in and out like while we were filming it, so they like saw a little bit of it and then they were out. But
cool.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah,
nice. That was that. So a lot of production went into that. Give us a little bit of the backstory. So Money Man, self-explanatory. You had Bones in a suit throwing cash around.
Yeah. That's the one. I spent like easy 2-3 months looking around for an actual vault, an old bank vault. Yeah. And I'd find them, but they'd be like real small. Yeah. I kept getting leads. That's why it took so long.
Yeah. And are they can you hit up any real banks?
I tried.
You're like, bro, promise, G, it won't touch me.
Yeah. I emailed from the Amanaki New Zealand, like, what's our email? It's like Amanaki NZHC or whatever, at gmail.com. I emailed the Reserve Bank in New Zealand and was like, any of your banks you got going? Like,
dear whom may concern, I'm after an empty vault.
Yeah. And they hit me back with the like, we'll get back to you in 20 working days.
Oh yeah.
And then no was the answer.
Yeah.
But I spent ages looking around at vaults, and they're all real tiny, because just not enough money in New Zealand. But
well, you'd find ones that like it would just be like the door of the vault would look cool, and then there's like nothing inside really, or it's just like almost like a cupboard.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Did NZ On Air have a vault?
No. But so we just got to the point where it was like, okay, we're not winning here. So then it was like, okay, how do we make a vault? Okay. I've got a few connections like in the film industry from where I started my career, and then so through them it was like, talk to these guys. Ended up getting a contact with a guy who builds sets for like TV shows and stuff like that.
Wow.
And he did us like a mean deal and basically built that in his garage.
Wow.
And then we just went and picked it up and put it all together in our workshop, and then shot it from there.
I think, like,
Yeah.
can we say that one of the talking points that what we got offered the Lotto studio?
Oh
some
yeah,
point?
yeah,
No way.
So yeah, it was pretty funny. We at one point we were in the TVNZ studios, like looking through their options there.
Yeah.
Because we were looking at like potential like green screening the whole thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, they offered, because of the theme, they offered us the Lotto studio, but it was gonna be like, because New Zealand On Air give you like 10 grand, which is flipping awesome.
Yeah.
But I think TVNZ wanted like 8 of it, like you know, and it was kind of like 2 grand to like do the rest is kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
stink. yeah. But I reckon it would have been funny as to have Bones there just flipping like with the wheels spinning and like
Yeah.
and all the
Number,
ball,
yeah.
the ball coming up.
Imagine he
Yeah.
just like grabs one of the balls, like the 8 ball or whatever,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
just has it in front of the screen and he just crushes it like.
yeah.
Those balls
That
are
would've been
super.
sick.
You know, that whole unit of the Lotto thing's super expensive, and all those balls
bet.
are like perfectly weighted as well, because they go around in that like air
Wow.
thing, and none of them can be any heavier
Huh.
than the other one.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
right? Because then
so
it's gonna
that-
be fair.
Yeah, it wouldn't be
Jeez.
fair, and then there'd be bias to you know the numbers that would come out every time.
That's why I
Yeah.
don't win, because it's all biased.
It's still biased.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So what's the bank vault made out of?
Oh, bro, so that is just like sheets of ply,
Yeah.
and then it's got like real thin MDF like blocks cut out,
Okay.
and they're just stuck like double-sided tape onto them to look like each part of like each of the little doors in the vault, and then the whole thing's just painted with like a metallic silver, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in a bank vault.
And then golden stickers for like the numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No way.
yeah,
So,
And then just like the right lighting and stuff, and
yeah,
they're
right.
just like,
yeah,
damn.
so wild. Yeah.
And then I guess
Couldn't believe it, because it was like what we ended up with was like what I originally had in my head as like the concept,
Yeah.
and then I spent so long hunting it down,
Yeah.
and so in the end to just like build it and it be like exactly what I thought, I was like, dang, this is wild.
That's
So
crazy.
But
And where'd you get the cash from? Where did the fake money come
bro,
from?
that was a process.
yeah, the fake money was actually probably one of like the most randomly difficult things to get. I thought it would have just been real easy to just get fake money, but apparently like that's like a real issue.
Okay.
So the bro who built our set, he managed to get it like through some like film company, but it was like this massive like apparently we were pretty lucky to get the money. It just seemed like totally random, like a little bit over my head as to why it was so difficult.
Yeah.
But like we were told that we could only get it through him because he's in the industry,
Yeah.
and like we couldn't even talk to the people. Like it was super random. They counted it all out and counted it all back in. Like
True.
it was insane, which was real risky because we were flipping throwing it everywhere and
Yeah.
yeah.
Otherwise, it would have had to be Monopoly money in the end if we could get it.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
one time, me and my mate Tommy C, we sold an RX-7,
Oh yeah.
and we had like 20 grand. Me and my mate
Eesh.
Tommy Collette, and we had like 20 grand, so we thought we would set up like a camera and just like just throw the money.
Yeah.
Bro, we threw the money. We threw money, just went everywhere. And then
Yeah.
when we counted it back up, we were like down like $100.
Oh no.
And he
The
didn't
worst,
find it
eh?
until ages, like went in like into like the couch or
Oh
whatever.
jeez.
But we're all
yeah.
awkward, you know, because you're counting your mate's money. There's $100 missing. You know, it hasn't
Yeah,
gone
yeah.
anywhere except for maybe into your pocket. And then like I was just like, bro. But it turned
that's
up later.
tricky
But.
as, eh?
So, how much? I mean, you had a budget of 10 grand, right? So how much did the money cost? Did the money cost?
That kind of just came in as part of like so the guy who built our set, he
Yeah.
just had like a fixed cost,
Oh, okay.
and he supplied the set and the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what else went into making that video?
Like
Just hitting up Bones because it was like for a while we were actually talking about who would be a good character to be in a music video from like the idea Jared had, and we're just tossing out ideas, and then just Bones.
Bones
up.
came up and we were like, hang on, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
He went out and got a suit for it as
yeah,
well.
he went and bought a brand new suit for it. It looked flipping amazing, eh?
Nice.
It was good. Yeah.
We were joking that because, of course, when we played the Sick Viddle show, how they played as well, that we jokingly said he should wear the suit and come on stage when we play the song and throw money, but didn't happen.
Some Monopoly money or something.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Well, I think it's cool to get some insight on the video because not many people make videos, and making videos is pretty cool. But also, like you said, like it looks really cool to do it, and then like it's super time intensive. Like the extra production that you guys put into it was like well worth it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, we've done the performance videos, and like it's one of those things where it feels really good as a band when you do a performance video, because it's like, oh man, we look, we think we look cool, that kind of thing, and you put it out and it doesn't get, like it's not really worth it, it doesn't get the views, it doesn't get what you think it would gain you,
and even a performance video is like $2,000-$3,000 plus, like it doesn't videos don't go below like a certain certain price. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's so tricky now because like everyone's so used to just like quick content now. Like rather than content of like a whole song, like no one's watching the whole thing, where everyone's in that like TikTok and Instagram reel, like 10-second long content, and then on to the next one.
Well, that's right. For Hypocrite Part 2, you went out to the Devonport tunnels to film some content.
Yeah, me and my cousin went out there middle of the night.
Is that where it is?
Yeah.
Bro, the Xile Warzone video clip.
Of course.
Yes, bro.
True.
Oh, dude.
That's crack up ass.
We got, you'd have to tell me about it, but we got up on a Sunday morning before the sun come up.
Oh, true.
And we went out there because we've been through there all the time because we'd actually take touring bands through there.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away the secret because they might figure it out. But we used to take them to those tunnels and then take them to like the regular public entrance, and then like the gates would be closed. Right, we were like, oh fuck, it's closed. They've locked it, and then we'd jam up. Like someone else in the band would be like, "That's right, someone got murdered here last weekend," and then everyone would be like, "Fuck," and be like, "Oh yeah, I know like a back entrance," and like you go around the side and it's like pitch black, and then all the tunnels are open from the back. And then we'd take them through there, but they'd be every time they'd be extra sketched out because they thought they'd obviously seen with their eyes that the front gates were like chained with padlocks. And we'd told them that someone had been killed there last weekend. Shit.
Jeez.
Well, didn't you hear some like people not too far away from when you guys were filming?
You're like, that's like, I don't know, you hear noises in them, and stuff, and it's just like, oosh, like, is it just around the corner, or are they like ages away, or like, and then it was just me and him as well, and there's like, it's my little cousin, there's like that element of like, I gotta like look after him, even though he's flipping bigger than me, but
it turned out well, the content.
Yeah.
So you did
definitely
it in
not
the
as
tunnels?
Sorry?
You did that? It was just the vocal scenes in the tunnels?
Yeah.
No other band members?
Nah.
Yeah.
Bro, that was like super casual compared to your like getting up super early on a Sunday morning.
So the whole band was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you go.
Yeah. No, it was just like a Friday night. Me and him were going to go to the Speedway, bro. Oh, there was like the Demolition Derby on. And we were going to go to that, but then the tickets were like $60 and we were like, oh, nah, I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh, should we just go shoot some content? And so like I drove over to his place. He was staying in Takapuna and we were like, oh, should we shoot this? And he was like, oh, should we go to the tunnel? Like super casual.
Yeah.
And then we just went and shot it and it was like, oh, that looks mean.
Yeah, bro,
super casual.
Mean spot. And then it's like, So we turned up there, the whole band, and then what's crazy about that is we shot all of the instruments and everything, including the drum kit. So we all walked. We had a crew with us as well because there's a videographer, couple guys, girlfriends and stuff, and we walked all of the drum kit out there and down into the tunnel, so like around the back
that
into
like ages.
Into one of the pillboxes that looked over back, towards like Mission Bay and stuff, and we set up the drums, and James did like. So we filmed all of our stuff first because it didn't make any noise while he was setting up the drum kit, and then when he hit the drum kits, it made this hell of a because he was playing the whole cymbals and everything, kicks and everything, and it was too like it was so loud that like you couldn't even put like your fingers in your ears. It was that loud because it was in this concrete tunnels. And he was just smashing the drums, and we packed it up. And as we were leaving, the caretaker had come out to tell us off. We're like, don't worry about it, bro. We're just leaving. We're out of here now. But it was like a full mission. Like it was like mission success. It was pretty dope. It was pretty dope. Yeah, Xile Warzone. That's that video clip. Yeah.
True. So,
But I haven't seen anyone else use it though.
Yeah.
no, can't say
That's
I
a
have
good
either.
spot though.
Yeah. I just feel like I'm constantly, like, everywhere I go, I'm just, like, looking for, like, I could shoot a little thing there, you know,
Yeah.
like.
Oh, that trash can looks nice.
Yeah.
You abandoned warehouse? Oh,
Yeah.
It's like an episode of that Finn McKenty or whatever. He's just like, metalcore band releases another video from like an abandoned warehouse. And well, if you know of a good one, like, I'll go filming it.
Yeah.
But
So
coming up
true.
with music videos is difficult. Like, I can't think. It's really hard to come up with like kind of like original ideas or maybe like to put yourself out there. So it's cool that you guys did something so different. Like on that, when we did the singles for Warzone and Diamond Eyes, that was in Ben Phillips' paint booth.
yeah, true.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So one World Demise was in the paint booth, and then Diamond Eyes was in the panel beater, just outside of the paint booth.
Yeah.
2 sets in one. And then in those
Nice.
videos, there's 2 different drummers. There's Jai playing drums in World Demise, and then Ben Phillips is actually playing drums in Diamond Eyes, and then I'm playing guitar in both of them too, because we already had one guitarist.
Yeah.
So the hooded character in those videos is me playing guitar.
Oh, true. I didn't look onto that.
So, no one would have noticed. All right. So are you guys doing any more videos?
If we get more New Zealand on air funding.
Well, I tell you what, that would be a good conversation. So obviously you got to do something really cool with that music funding, and that's cool. That's cool that a hardcore band got it, because you hear of a lot of people applying for that stuff and not even getting replies, us included, because you don't even get told that you're not accepted. You only get an email if you are.
Yeah.
So like you don't get like any feedback on why they think you're a rubbish idea or whatever.
Yeah.
So you got it, and then in all likelihood, you probably won't get another one because you've already received that one. So what would you do again? What would your advice be to doing a video again and maximizing its potential?
Yeah, I guess, so I think the big thing is to just keep applying, Like we still apply every time.
Comes around.
Yeah. Every time it comes around, as long as you've got something new that you could like release a song with.
Yeah.
It's just something that if you were to get it could like change a lot of things for your band.
Yeah.
So it doesn't cost you to apply. So I feel like everyone should apply.
Yeah.
Also, my hope is that if enough hardcore bands just keep applying, that they'll just be like, okay, fine, let's give it to more hardcore bands.
Yeah.
True.
Because you're totally right. Like I couldn't believe it when we did get it, because I think before us, it was Seas of Conflict got it a few years ago.
Oh, yo.
And
Shout out Seas of Conflict.
yeah. But before them, I'm not sure if anyone had ever got it.
The only people I can think of ever receiving New Zealand music funding is Saving Grace and the Bleeders, and that would have been over a decade ago.
Yeah,
I haven't
true.
heard of anyone recently. I've only heard the only people that play in like the bands like that are just Australians, and they're getting the Australian music grants, and I've got Australians have like a whole touring grant and stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
Yeah. And they've obviously
Yeah.
got like those APRA incentives where you've got like free baggage on planes and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, there's so many things that even like the Australians do that could get people so far. You know what I mean? Like how much does it? It costs so much to fly to Christchurch.
Yeah.
Like already, like say if you wanted to go on a snowboarding trip to Queenstown, it costs as much as it does as it gives to get to like Brisbane on like a special.
Yeah,
And then
it's
think
wild,
about if you're a band and you've got to take all these things, 2 baggages each, and then
Yeah.
next minute you've got like a $600 return flight in your own country.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh.
To play a gig to like 100 people max. Like,
And all you could have is I really don't understand why they couldn't have that free baggage for new musicians on like Air New Zealand in New Zealand, because it doesn't discriminate between anyone, and then like you can't really abuse it either.
Yeah.
Or actually, to be fair, you could abuse it to go on holiday and you could put your own bags on it.
Yeah.
And
true.
I never thought of that. See,
Just
that's
pack
how
all your stuff in guitar cases, eh?
well, that's how innocent of a mind even like a naughty boy who tries to think of everything like me is. Like I'm just like, nah, I'd never abuse that. But then like I guess you could, because you need an APRA number, right? And then you could get yourself free
True.
baggage within New Zealand. But anyway, like that doesn't discriminate between genres, and it doesn't discriminate between levels of people as well. It means like an entry level person that's doing whatever they want genre wise can get a hold of a 200 minimum $200 if you've got 2 pieces of baggage discount on your flights.
Yeah.
And then like no one goes to the South Island. Sometimes I forget that it don't want people from the South Island watching, right? But like obviously there's mean metal bands, like Organectomy,
totally.
Plague of the Fallen, those No Life, and then Treachery was a band. There's cool things happening down there as well, but it's unfortunate when the circle of like people that get missed, people come to Australia and then they miss New Zealand, and then if they come to Auckland they miss Christchurch, you know what I mean? So I feel bad for those guys down there that that miss out on it, and then it's so expensive to just be a band.
Definitely adds up real quick, eh?
But I would say that even though we've been writing off performance videos, if it was your first couple of videos, I would definitely do a performance video. And then maybe if you wanted to save costs, I'd double down and do like that, like trendy cell phone, like what do you call that, like trap rapper new age shit. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're worried about it being shit, just make it extra shit, because extra shit is extra good now.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So like make it extra bad, so it's like
distort the heck out of it.
And then maybe that's enough to capture someone's attention. Do you know what I mean?
That was actually the funny thing about the stuff we shot for the Hypocrite Part 2 in the tunnels. Was my cousin's like studying film, and he shot it, and he's like, getting everything, all the settings like perfect, and he gets this real mean, clean looking footage. And then he passes it on to me, and I just distorted the heck out of it. And chucked all these effects on it, and then that's the final thing. But it was so clean and crisp at the start.
Bro, that's hilarious, because the same thing happened with the Warzone clip. Jai,
true.
He had like all of this new camera gear, and he was just getting into videography, and he'd got drones, and he's got all like the nice stuff, and he'd been like, filming for like Amity Affliction at like Unify, all this nice stuff, and he had all this real clean footage, and then the footage got sent to BDHW, our label, to cut it up, and then he'd put on like like the ashes and the wind coming across the screen, like filter over it, and then I remember Jai's message back to me was just like, you fucked this up, because it was so like. So is there any more videos coming out for this release?
Not for this release. We've got some applications in at the moment with New Zealand On Air for maybe another release. I've actually been missing the application schedule, because I'm signed up to everything, bro. Like MMNZ, IMNZ, APRA things, and then like when you're like this micro genre of music, if you want to find out something that's for you, it's kind of like scrolling through a product page. Like only one thing is for you, but you'll miss it unless you read everything. And if you don't read everything, you'll miss it. And then like, I just get too much of these emails, because I'm signed up to all of them, and I just don't even look at them anymore. It's so true. All right, recording this EP, where'd you guys do it? So we actually do all our production in-house. So
no way.
Yeah. So cool. I guess right from the start.
You do it.
No. No, Jared's the mastermind.
Okay, cool.
So from the start, a lot of the writing is done between April and I. April writes the stuff that like sounds mean, and then I just write more like caveman, like kind of just like real basic stuff.
Are you on the guitar, or are you air guitar? Are you backseat driving air guitaring here?
No. So I just write real basic songs, and then I send them to her, and then she makes them sound a little bit better. Makes prettier chords, because I can just drop D, move the one finger around. So that's how we do that. And then we track everything. We track guitars in April's cupboard underneath her stairs in her flat.
Little Dobby's room under the
pretty much.
Stairs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And then we just track it all, and then I mix it, and then we send it off to Luke Finlay from Primal Mastering, and he does the final touch on it, and then that's
cool. Rad.
It's just really handy just to do it all in house, so it's not like, cool, here's a bunch of demos we've written, when's the time we could book a studio, whereas we've just organised a time when we're free to go down to Hamilton and record it. So
it's all about what works for you, because every time you ask someone about like recording or what they do, and then depends if you're into music or not, but everyone that I talk to about a not music, they assume that you and your 5 little cool friends head down to the band practice room and you sit there for hours talking about it and shit. I can't think of anything worse than like 5 people trying to decide on something and then making a whole lot of like actual racket at the same time. Like, I mean, imagine a live drum kit next to you and then everyone else is like noodling and stuff. I mean, maybe it worked back in the day because that's the only way that it was done, so that's how you did it. But you know, I've never. It's always been like one person who's had the vision, or whoever's got the vision, and then everyone else. You know, they put their input after they know that person that with the vision has got like their core of their thought out, and then they add what they think of the core of their thought, and then they go and get it done. So you record the guitars, and then do you write MIDI drums to your demos too?
Yeah. So cool. our demos are all just MIDI drums. Yeah, and then we track Jethro on an electric drum kit.
Oh, nice.
It's just a little bit easier.
Yeah, and then what do you call it? Samples do you put over that? What's the
So
programs?
I use Steven Slate drums.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it gets us the sound we want.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit easier. It's quicker. It saves us a lot of time on like editing, you know, all the drums and stuff like that.
Oh, dude, more people should be open about what they get up to.
I know. That's the thing. Like saying that, I feel like, you know, we're like letting the team down by saying we don't use a real drum kit. But when it comes down to it, like we don't have the money to go and hire a studio for like a couple days for Jethro to like sit there and like and you know track him playing all the songs. Like it just adds up real quick.
Because both of us did study recording art, so we know the whole process that goes into recording drums, and it's just like the cost of it. And
he's got to go buy new skins, he's got to go buy new sticks, he's got like, if some of his cymbals is cracked, he's got to go buy another $500-$600 cymbal, and then
he's got to be like on his A game. Hard hitting for like every single song, super consistent, you know, like there's a lot of time and effort goes into it.
Definitely.
I totally respect the bands that do it, but it also I think it should be okay for bands to not do it like that.
100%. Many, after going to a lot of the studios like around the world and like seeing what people do, and then like overhearing like bits and pieces of what people get up to. Like people get up to all sorts. People release whole albums that are just like MIDI drums like that, and you would have no idea. Some people, when they go to record the drums, it'll be just like the shells and the cymbals and no feet, and the feet will be by themselves, or it'll just be like the kick will be just on the thing. Do you know what I mean? It's all about whatever you can do to get done, and especially when cost is a massive issue as well. Like if you're going to say back to that person who's going to say, you know, quote unquote, that's lame, you'd be like, well, you pay for it. Like there's a difference between it happening and not. Do you know what I mean? Well, this is the difference between this happening and not.
Totally.
We're still going to get up on stage and play everything live. That's been my whole thing as well. It's like if there's, you know, someone's taking the piss out of digital amps or something like that, I mean, like, well, if you see it live and it's all real, like, doesn't, you know.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's one of those things, like, I'd rather see bands like use MIDI drums and have decent sounding drums, because that's one of the biggest things I feel like when you listen to someone's music that they've put out, and if the drums sound bad, like it can be hard to like carry on listening to it, you know?
I'm definitely like a bit of an audio snob in that way. Like when it comes to like old school bands, someone will be like, what Cannibal Corpse do you like? And I'll be like just Corpse Grinder onwards. Be like, why? And be like, because I can listen to it. And be like, what Slayer do you like? I actually like all Slayer, all the way from Show No Mercy 1983. But I prefer to listen to like Die Bliss and Musica, God Hates Us All onwards, because there's like better production. I put it in my ears. Got some nice AirPod Pros, like got some nice headphones. I listen to the music on my in-ears sometimes with the drivers. And then like I just want some like easy listening stuff if I'm gonna go to the gym, and if I'm gonna go to the gym or I'm gonna spend all day like bricklaying or something, I don't really need like a buzzing bee in my ear or some like kind of fucked frequency. Not hating or anything, but you know what I mean. Like I'd rather it comes out as good as possible.
And for us, like we've still got like Jethro is still tracking it, you know. Like it's not like we're just writing in.
He's still writing the drums. He's still writing his instrument. Yeah, exactly.
Like I I kind of get it to an extent when it's just like, cool, you're just like drawing in,
Yeah.
you know, all the
grid.
notes.
Yeah,
all on
yeah.
the grid. So it's like perfect. You know, like that makes sense.
Yeah, going back to what I said, if you guys bring it live and you can play it live, I mean, there's nothing worse than hearing like if you hear, I guess you know when you hear on MIDI drums something that can't be played, you know, like Infinite Annihilator or something.
Yeah. Or there's like 4 cymbals that are all getting hit at the same time.
Oh, we're called like the octopus, like this. Yeah, this is a 3-arm drummer.
Yeah.
I guess the good thing as well is that it's, I mean, doing it in-house as well, is that we've got 4 EPs that we've been able to release and not being restricted on, you know, having to wait for studio time or whatever to release the music that you're sitting on. So, I mean, we're stoked on that.
Yeah, just waiting on me flipping getting it all done
All the
because I'm
mixing.
like, oh, sorry, I've been busy at work. Oh, busy at work.
Yeah.
No, I got there in the end.
Did you know about Judgment Day Productions? Judgment Day Productions is a multi-cam desk audio live set YouTube channel run by Matt Livingstone from Antagonist AD and myself. And right now you can check out Amanaki's live set supporting Sick of It All at Galatos. They actually play Hypocrite Part 2 and they play Money Man, the singles that we're talking about. I'm going to post a link to that below. Back to the pod. What about the bass rundown? I'd love to get some more kind of technical stuff behind the scenes. What do you like to do with your bass?
Here's the secret: Jared tracks the bass.
True. Nice.
Oh, we're planning next release for me to jump on it, but I said to Jared, to be fair, he's got his whole rig, and instead of us
Yeah.
trying to figure out timings, I'm just like, bro, you just play the bass. It's like,
And learn it after.
Yeah.
That happens too. So someone will write like the whole song, and then the whole band will get together and then learn it after it's been like demoed and recorded. So it's all about like what works.
Yeah, I mean, I can
Yeah.
still play it live, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely, bro. Yeah. I think it's also like I've played all the bands I've played in beforehand. I've played bass, and so I just smash it out real quick.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I'll get back from recording guitars with April, and then I'll just be like, one evening, oh, there's all the songs. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, there's actually, because particularly with bass and playing guitar, if the same person plays it really locks in, because basses are really like peaky if you don't.
Yeah.
Because I've been playing bass. I play bass and guitar for all of the bands. I've played bass and guitar. Exile's the only band I've ever sung for.
Yeah.
So I know how to play a bass like differently to the thing. It can be like really peaky in like the way that you play it, and
Yeah, definitely.
so like I really find that if the same person that's recorded the guitar records the bass with that same hand style, then it really the frequency of the bass really lock into like the guitar. Yeah.
Definitely.
No, I'm
But you were saying you play the bass, but and April plays the guitar though. So,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But then, but like I've spent like all day listening to her playing the same songs. I feel like I've got this
Locked in.
the
'cause
the
you've got it in
songs
the
like
door.
so locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'll do some like additional vocal parts, so there's at least some of me. I mean,
Definitely.
which songs was I can't remember. When I was still at my parents', that had some neighbours that were just a handful to deal with, and I recorded some vocals one time, and they were just out on the fence, like wondering what was going on.
Yeah. I've screamed into my closet a couple times here on some guest spots. Yeah, just belting it out. Might have been for your.
Yeah.
For your one I did at K Drums, and
that's
and
right.
I had to do it with Lee sitting next to me, just like clapping. Remember, I've got like the issue with the timing on that song. Not the greatest vocalist, FYI. And he was just like, "This is how it goes," and I actually just like landed on like the correct timing by accident, and we kept it. So I was
So
never
good.
that I didn't get it right in the first place.
Yeah. Crack up.
I'm a real just kind of peas and potatoes on the beat.
Bro, that was so funny when we played that show with you guys at Big Fan.
Yeah.
And then we were talking before the show backstage about that song, and Lee was saying about how he remembers exactly how the vocal needs to go, and I was like, you should just get up and do it then.
And he did it.
And it, and it was mean. Yeah.
I was scrolling through videos looking for just something, and I come across that one because I filmed him doing it.
Yeah.
What about when it comes to vocals?
Vocals.
Maybe let's start at, obviously lyrics come before recording vocals, so what's your lyric writing process?
So the songs that April writes, she's really good at like giving them a really good name.
Oh yeah, cool.
And it's real crazy the amount of times that like she'll give it like a real good name, and then I listen to the song and I'm like, oh, that name fits perfectly. And then basically the whole lyrics come out of that one word, you know, that she's named that one song, versus the songs that I wrote where it'll just be like the numbers of the riff.
Yeah.
Like, it'll just be like 1034. Like,
Yeah.
And then I'm just like starting from the beginning. But yeah, usually it just starts on like a concept, and then it just comes to me at like real random times, like typically in the shower.
Okay.
I'll just be like, oh, here's a whole verse, and then I got to do the like quickly like dry my hands, grab my phone, flip and voice record like me saying the verse or whatever, and then, you know, it just kind of forms the whole song.
Cool.
And then just track myself.
So you're a post writer of the lyrics. So after you've got the guitars down,
Yeah.
and then so you're listening to the song and then you're writing over the flow of the song. Yeah.
There's only Domestics was one of our first EP that we dropped. That was one of the songs that I wrote, and that was the only one that I actually wrote that vocal hook at the start, and then wrote the rest of the song. But that's the only time vocals have happened first, I think. Yeah.
Buzzy.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's what I enjoy mostly about it. That's the same. So I write the lyrics like to the vibe of the song. So I don't have anything pre-written besides my kind of like note roll of like song names that sound cool, and then like pick calls. Yeah. So I've got those saved, but like no pre-writing of lyrics. I've always found that if anything was pre-written, you get too attached to it and you try and cram it in there.
Definitely.
And then you end up cramming in words, and then that word's not part of the rhythm, and then since that word form the sentence, you can't get rid of it, you know. So
and you get like a vibe off like just the riffs and stuff like that. There's a new track that we've been working on, and April chucked this like this real random effect on in this little lead part, and it reminded me of like old dial-up, like all the random noises.
I like while you're trying to connect.
Yeah. And then like so I was like listening to that, got that vibe from it, and then the song I was like, oh, maybe I'll just write about the internet on that song, you know. And then like that's kind of how the whole song came together, was because she wrote that riff, and I was like, man, that sounds like when I used to be at my grandparents, and I'd be like trying to do my homework, trying to connect to the internet, and then my grandma's calling someone on the phone.
Oh, someone
and
needs
then
to
my
use the
phone's
phone.
Yeah. So good, eh?
That's crack up, because I mean, like, we would have just caught the end of that, right? So like the generation before us would have like been proper living in that. They would have been like, yeah, man, that's like standard as, but we kind of only cop the end of that. And like the start of kind of computers that way.
Kids don't understand what they've got these days, eh?
Well, my missus likes to go on about that. One time they were just like filming people on the street, and they were asking kids to like pretend to like answer a phone, and they'll be like this instead of like that. So you'd be like, you know,
so true, eh?
And then like take a photo, you know, you'd be like this. But then them taking a photo is just the holding a cell phone, you know. But I mean, just a couple old dudes on the couch just talking about the way it used to be, eh?
Back in my day.
And then what about tracking the vocals? What do you use?
So I use SM7B.
Yeah.
And then I run that through. I've got a Universal Audio 610 preamp. That I run that through, and then that just into my Focusrite, into Logic, done.
Yeah. What do you post? What do you do post to your vocals?
It's quite a bit going on. I can't remember all the plugins, but I got a few things going on there. There's one of the main ones that I actually really like to use is Joey Sturgis gain reduction.
Okay.
It's like a vocal plugin that just like, bro, you chuck that on and it's like, oh, that sounds mean. Yeah. Wow. It just like, especially for like real like yelling and screaming kind of genres, like it just just brings it up heaps and it sounds mean. And then real in your face.
Lots of auto tune.
Lots of auto tune.
True.
Shout out to T-Pain.
What so when you got the SM7B, it took me quite a long time to get. Like people would always record in like a booth with this on like a stand, and I was just like, I can't do this, like I don't really know where it is. And then, you know, if you've only been singing, you get really used to having a hand up and like compressing your diaphragm from its side and singing like that. And when you get into the studio and there's a microphone in front of you and you've got both of your shoulders down and you're trying to sing, and I've always been like, I can't kind of like figure this out, like what's going on. And then what I did with one of these is I had a handheld one of these. Oh, this is the same one, and I think I covered it in like masking tape, so like things wouldn't move and like you wouldn't get the scratch on like the body. And then I record it, and that's why I've got this actually wins, because you know these come with this sock and they come with that other cone one. And if you've got this one on it, it's obviously way larger and it's got like a little bit of room there, and it gives you like a good distance if your nose is like touching it like that. And then it gives, that's going to be, I did a bit of a fucking Aaron from Luca on that one. It's got to be a bit loud on that one, but then it gives you like your proximity to the microphone every time. Yeah. But I've always hated recording vocals just because of that reason, that it's not
so true,
the same way that you've been doing it the whole time. Bro.
Are you also like holding your phone for lyrics as well? Or do you already have it memorized by that point?
Nah, my technique is because, like I was saying before, I don't even know if I have a technique. It's just shouting. So everything is like,
same here, bro.
Everything is like 110%. So what I do is I just say the sentence like 10 times before. I say the sentence so you know where you can breathe and how your mouth's supposed to move. Because you know, like when you're screaming and shouting, if you zig when something in your mouth wants to zag, boom, everything's just like blown up in an instant, and then you're just gone. So like memorizing, I actually think a lot of the times when I lost my voice back in the day, it was from singing songs that didn't actually have words to them yet. So I'd have like mostly words, and there'd be a section where I'd be freestyling it, and since my whole diaphragm push wasn't in sync with what my vocal cords were doing, it was really, really hurt them. Now I can feel a couple times where I'd pushed, my vocal cords had closed, and it just felt like an umbrella, bro. It just was like, in there, and I was like, gone.
That's the worst. I do this like wild thing. I don't know whether I'd recommend it, but I do. Like I try do the whole song in one. Like in my first take, I'll do the whole song like I'm doing it live. And then I go through that and I listen at what sucks. And then I like work on those spots kind of thing. Rather than going like bit by bit. But it's just to get like a bit of like a live feel, like the flow of it. But then I end up retracking the whole thing anyway, so it's probably not worth it.
Interesting you say that, because you want to be able to do something live. Before we left to, I think maybe on that big Australian Viators Murder tour that was like 4 weeks long, I'd read out the songs and I'd just put them in color codes. I put them in like green and orange, and then the green was like what I could scream, and then orange was what I chose not to scream but make it like end with a scream. And then I even put B's in there for breaths, and I train myself on the thing. Because you get so, you know, when you hit the stage, like all the rules are like out the gate, you know what I mean? And you start off real hot and then you're wrecked by the end of it. And that's sweet for like the New Zealand mentality if you're playing one song, because, you know, it doesn't matter. Tomorrow there's nothing. But bro, if you, like, when you guys get on like a big tour, like when you guys jump on that big tour and that finally happens, it's going to be a treat for you, bro, because I've done a million tours where I played an instrument and just stayed up all night and played hungover. But when it gets to you on the vocals, that's when it gets like, my whole experience has changed from being a guitarist in bands to being a vocalist in bands. And then you're really going to want to like know the songs and find a way to like just like survive, because as soon as like your voice goes, like it can't be brought back, because it's like an organic thing. You can't change the strings, you can't change the sticks.
Nah, it's wild, eh?
So that's what I tried to plan out the songs, and into screaming, and then practice the breaths too, because when I found that when I lost my voice, it was at the end, and you're pushing with your upper chest instead of your diaphragm, and you're doing that like that right at the end, that would really get it. So I'd make sure that I had like enough breath to do that, and went to K drums like every morning at like 6 a.m. before the gym and did like a set. But like even then I was still ruined, but Yeah, but the guys just get used to it. Like all of these guys that you see that are like on the tour, they get so much practice.
Yeah.
And let's say that that's like one of the levels of practicing is like me going to the practice room by myself and then training for the songs and then filing out the songs. Nothing can replace you being malnourished, no sleep, having to play night after night, and then sick or something like that. Nothing can replace that. And then also if you're practicing too, nothing, because I was practicing, I'd put like the playback on, and that means the songs would come after each other with like a 30-second break, because if you're practicing by yourself, you can still have a smoko, check the phone,
exactly.
have a coffee, call the missus or whatever. So that's not how a live set goes, right? And then so you also can't replicate that. So the only way to like really replicate what these guys are doing and how good they are is just from their experience. It's just from being there and then learning that 1% of information and then taking that to the next tour and taking that to the next tour. Lung capacity is a big one. When I was real ruined after that Alpha Wolf tour in Europe, and I went back to go record that studio, and I had lost like most of my voice. I could talk in the morning, but not in the afternoon.
Oh, wow.
But when I got in the studio to go sing, it was actually, I was better than I had ever been, even though I was like the most wrecked I'd ever been, but I was also the best I'd ever been, because over 20 nights of getting up and having to go 110% for 30 minutes have brought up my like lung capacity. And so there's no like replacement for like actually being there. It's pretty crazy.
I do a little bit of practice here and there, like nowhere near as much as I should be doing, but I just do it at work. And one day the like cleaner came in, and it's like this old fella, and he comes upstairs, and I got like a hell of a Friday because I had my in-ears in, and then like boom, someone's there, and it's like someone I don't ever really see, so I got a hell of a fright, and he's just like, "Oh, you're an angry young man, aren't you?"
Was he holding a vacuum cleaner and shit?
Yeah, exactly. And like no context, because he can only hear me screaming. Like he's not
context.
hearing the music, right? And so he's just hearing raw vocals as he's flipping.
Oh, dude.
Funny as.
I'm still waiting at some point though that we're gonna have a show coming up, and then Jared loses his voice, and then us two will probably switch instruments.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that.
Bro's on backup all the time, you know?
Yeah. Dude.
Any moment. You're on tonight? Nah.
Yeah.
It's actually been one of the most frustrating things for me is trying to get good at vocals, because there's no replacement for like you had to go to work and be in like an isolated environment and go and pray. And then for me, the distorted sound only happens if you go hard. I can't just be like, I'm going to have a casual scream, boys.
Yeah.
And then like people, you can go pick up your bass and play anytime you want, right?
Exactly.
And it's like when I play my guitar, I can sit on the couch watching a movie, like when the missus next to me, and just kind of like noodle or practice scales. And it's not the same with vocals. So much harder, in my experience, to get good. And I hate it when I come across these like also naturally gifted people as well that can just like manipulate their voice. Like think of Isaac from Pale Flag. Man, he's incredible. And then JSAG from Soul Void, like he can do like a deep scream and then go into like a high, like ooh, like from like a thing. He's almost like Jim Carrey from The Mask, bro. And then do you know actually who's amazing is Cyber Siege, CJ, the drummer of Pale Flag. Have you seen him sing for no reason? Bro, I was just like, I should just give up. So like there's like natural talent when it comes to it. And then I even got a course. Have you seen that extreme vocal coach? The guy with the long hair. I forget his name, but sometimes he'll pop up on like Not Loose videos, and he's always comes to shows, and he's got his own thing. So I bought one of his courses for like $50 a month, and I learned how to like do like fry and false chord, and that's actually kind of easy once you actually get to like learn it. But hardcore vocals is shouting.
I know, right?
It's like distorted, just like completely different. And then what's real funny is like he's the man, right? I think his name's David from Extreme, could be wrong. And I was like, okay, when's he gonna talk about like the hardcore screaming? And then when he got to it, he's just like, and then the hardcore guys, they kind of just shout. And then like kind of just went on and then went on to his like, you know, kind of like Will Ramos worship shit, like, you know, like tongue placement and all this. And I was like, not relatable. Yeah, it made me better because it made me in tune with like what was happening. But at the same time, it's like totally useless for guys like me and you. Yeah. Because it's at the end of the day, it's just distorted yelling and you're just trying to survive. How many cough lozenges you can have.
Yeah. I'm sure you get asked the same question all the time, but it's like when people ask the question like, oh, so how do you do that?
The rock scream, eh?
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. I just yell really loud, like that. It's kind of it. Like I don't know. I don't really have like a technique. It just comes out. But
I was actually thinking yesterday that it is also weird being a vocalist, like a hardcore vocalist, and like doing the scream. It doesn't really make any sense why anyone does it and why you do it. And so when someone asks you that question, like, how do you do it or why do you do it? You're just like, I don't know. I grew up going to shows and he did it. I gave it a go, and because people have only got their one voice too, so it's like you've just got your screaming voice. It doesn't have an accent. It's only got the distortion. So in a lot of ways, I mean, probably there's a lot of people, someone might argue differently, but it's like whatever comes out. You know what I mean? I actually can't do a different version of what I do.
Yeah.
Can you do a different version of?
Nah, pretty much what you get is what you get.
Exactly. And it's like, it's, I think, hard. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you know when you're at the gym and you're watching like Red Bull, people jumping out of planes, and then and then someone will be like diving, and you'll be like, man, why bother? And then you think, that's right, I play hardcore.
Yeah.
I'm just as ridiculous to them, and hardcore moshing and screaming into a microphone is equally as like foreign as like why I would want to go do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's so buzzy.
Definitely.
Like when you look at yourself from like the third perspective of what we all get up to and what we're like really passionate about. And what we're trying to be like better at as well.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's funny to think about that.
I was at a family dinner just the other week, and they had all come to one of our shows recently, and they were trying to get me to like just scream at the dinner table. They were like, "Oh, show us how you do it," you know, like just to like teach them, you know, and it's real funny. Like I just really struggle to just do that then. Yeah. But then like I flip and jump up on a stage and just go for it, you know. Like, and I'm like, in the moment I was like, why can't I just do, like, what's the difference? Is it because there's not like, is it the volume in the venue that I'm just like all of a sudden it's okay for me to just start screaming?
Adrenaline?
Yeah. Definitely didn't have adrenaline at the table, but yeah.
Well, it's more than just the music, isn't it? You've got everything going. The atmosphere is charged. The lyrics are charged with like aggressive meaning, and then the riffs are hard. You know what I mean? So it needs to be in this like setting for it to happen.
Definitely.
But tell you one thing I did learn from that course, learning the fry and the fry and the false chord. You can do that quiet. You know, you can or whatever. So you can use that as a party trick. I did that at the barbers like the other month. They're like, do the scream, and I just did like a quiet false chord. They're like, whoa! They've got no idea that that's not my like 100 decibel yell.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
Nazi. And you've got like how have you crafted you've been singing longer than me, so you've got like a warm up or?
Yeah, I was actually for years I was like real lazy on the warm up kind of thing. Other bands that like I always did like backing vocals in previous bands, and I would justify like not having a warm up because I only do like a few lines, you know, like here and there. And then when we started the band, it was just kind of like, don't need a warm up for this kind of thing, and then like just absolutely blow my voice out. And then just like as time's gone on, it's just like, okay, like to do this properly, I need to do this and this and this.
Which is what?
So pretty much like the band beforehand, I just start like warming up then like for pretty much their entire set. Pretty embarrassing, but I just like sit there and like hum notes that go like up and down while also like doing the like thing, you know? So I'll just be backstage and going like like that for like freaking half an hour, bro. Yeah, ages, eh? One of the because I did one of those vocal courses as well, and one of the main things I learned out of it was like if you yawn, it like resets like all your vocal cords. Like if you warm up and then you yawn, it's like resetting it.
Yeah.
And like I'm real bad for yawning when I'm like nervous, and I get so nervous before we play shows.
Yeah.
And so it's like one of those things. Like I'll be like warming up, and then I drop a yawn, and I'm like, oh, we're back to the start.
Dude. What was the vocal course that you did?
I can't remember what the name. It was like something like Music Mentors or something like that. And they had the guy from, is it Jake from August Burns Red?
Yeah.
Jack or Jake?
Jake.
Yeah, they had basically just like a bunch of guest vocalists from a whole lot of big name bands.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I didn't really learn a lot of it because a lot of them were just like, I don't know, I this is just how I sound, you know, which is kind of what we were saying before, you know, where it's like, I just do this and this comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I brought like, have you heard of Melissa Cross?
Yeah.
So I've got both of the Melissa Cross DVDs, and like the second one's with like the bonus disc, and like, you know, I don't want to write her off because I think she was like doing really, make really high produced stuff, and I think everything a lot relates to like that false chord and like the fry scream. Like she'd be there with like Randy from Lamb of God or whatever, and then she's got like the pencil technique where you put like a pen in your teeth, and you to stop you from like mouthing what you want to say. Like instead of trying to project what you're trying to do with your mouth over here, it tries to project what you're doing, articulate behind, because you can't move what's in front.
Yeah.
But I didn't really get anything from the DVDs, if I'm honest, except for like seeing a whole lot of cool people from big bands, like be like, oh yeah, fucking goes hard. I'm sure it did work.
So true.
One thing I did get from it though is I don't actually use it now because I don't think I'm doing it properly, but she had like a whole warm up thing on or that you could load into your phone, and it was like it was registered to your voice tone, so your speaking voice tone.
Oh, wow. And
then based on your speaking voice tone, because it's a tenor, you know how like there's like baritone tenors and there's high singers depending on where you are in the thing. And it was a warm up based on that, and it would go around and stuff. And then I used it for a long time, and I think it helped because I was doing something, but I also think it didn't help because I was pushing in the wrong ways.
Yeah.
And then now I'm back on the hums like you, and then like the breathing out like, and I've also got these like metal straws, and people think that it's called like vocal straws, and people think that you should be focusing on breathing out, like, which you can do with the straw. So imagine this metal straw. But this is actually why it's also a gimmick, because you can also do it with your lips too, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but sucking in, like, so like having like a small metal straw and then sucking in like that really strengthens up your diaphragm. And my brother is a medical student as well, and he was telling me that one of the studies that he's read, the highest efficiency of lung capacity comes from new smokers from starting of smoking to 3 months. So in that 3 months, their lung capacity gets like really heightened, and then after the 3 months, the effects of smoking starts to deteriorate that person.
Oh, wow.
So it makes you like superhuman in this first 3 months or whatever. But that's from sucking in, right? Like, and that's from doing a lung one as well. So I've got those vocal straws, and I've actually I'll show it to you after this. I've got one that I've been trialing from it's like an old MMA fighter, and it's got like a snorkel like mouthpiece on it, and it's got like different size adapters, and you use that to suck in. I saw it on a Joe Rogan podcast, believe it or not. And then an old MMA fighter, I forget what his name is, but I'll put a picture up of the screen over here. But it's pretty cool, and I've been practicing with that. And then but like I said, I'll just do anything to get better, because you know if someone offers you one of these 20-date tours, bro, you're gonna lose your.
The other thing I've been trying is, have you heard this whole like the vocal like vapor thing where you
Yeah. I've
Have
got
you
one of
tried that?
those. I have
bro.
one.
Yeah.
Vocal
I've got one.
Mist.
I'm
onto my I'm onto my second one because the first one the battery died. I'm onto my second one.
Oh,
took that-
true,
yeah.
bro. My one, the battery didn't work from the start. I got to have it plugged in the whole time, so I'm flipping stuck right next to the power
So
cable.
are you talking about the actual vocal mist, that little white canister thing,
Yeah.
and you put those little saline
Yeah,
things on the top?
yeah.
Those
Do you
things
reckon it
look
works?
dodgy as.
Yeah,
I'm
still on the fence about it.
I will tell you that if you're touring, it works. If you've
Yeah.
just been on like an air conditioning, it works. If you've just been on a
Gotcha.
long flight, it works. If you've just woken up, or particularly when you're going to sleep before then, it works to hydrate that but you've also got to use it in the right way too. Sometimes I think if you're just kind of just like breathing normally, it doesn't go to the right places.
Yeah.
Because water doesn't actually touch your vocal cords. So it's like water does help, but I think your vocal cords go back and it doesn't hit the back of your vocal cords. So with that vocal steamer and the mister, when you breathe it out, that like saline stuff can pass on the back of your vocal cords and your vocal cords because it goes around it. Does not Yeah. Have you ever had one of those tracheotomy exams of like what your vocal cords look like?
No.
I got one like before I went to Europe last thing, and then the lady had like the thing down my throat. She's like, do the scream, and then I did like the scream like in the medical place.
Yeah.
And I was watching it on the screen, and like the vocal cords were like, "Rah!"
Well, you've got like something like
that. Yeah, you can't feel it though.
Oh,
it's
okay.
like
Sweet.
It's only just in front of it as well, in front of your vocal cords. But when I walked out of there, like all of like the people in the waiting room were like, and then the
What
ladies
happened
at
in there?
reception were like, "What happened there?" And we're like,
jeez.
But the lady who was doing it for me, she loved it because I think she just maybe she's just looking for STDs down people's throats all day, and then I come in with like something remotely interesting. Do you know what I mean? She was like, "Do the rock scream."
Do the roll.
Yeah. But I have seen on tour people with like proper nebulizers where they've got it actually heated, so they've got like it looks like a little boiling pot, and you put like a mask over it, and it boils it. And I've seen people also like kind of boil a pan of water and put a towel over there, a wet towel over their head, and like huff it in. Yeah. So I think the one step above that, like little handheld one, which is good because I would like use it in my bunk and stuff.
Yeah.
You can't use a hot boiling pot of water in your bunk. But the next stage would be like one of those nebulizers with like hot. Because the best times that I've had like been like vocally warmed up is when I'm like super hot. Like I actually reckon one of the best warm ups that you can do before a show is to like actually do like a physical warm up, like some star jumps or like press ups and stuff.
Bro, I'm doing that at the same time as doing the because we jump around quite a bit and. Like I've done it before where like I haven't stretched and then like flipping first 30 seconds jump around and it's like game over already.
I tell you a real good one from the Extreme Vocal Institute is like tongue stretches, like sitting here like
true
like all this.
Definitely want to be doing it backstage.
It's my band. The guys in the band love it when they see it. They're like, there he is. What about you playing bass, Ethan? So I've seen you like slam up covers on guitar on the internet and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, played guitar since I was like 11. So, and then just like always been part of the scene, but then just never like, I wrote a cringy metalcore album back in the day with one of my mates, which will never see the light of day. But yeah, it was just, these guys were wanting a bassist and I was like, I can play guitar. So, a few less strings.
So it was your first band on bass?
Yeah. First band on bass. First band in general playing in properly. So.
Oh, no way.
So, yeah. So, I've been part of the scene for ages and kind of just growing up watching live sets and I was like, this is what, how things should go on stage and just all came pretty well. Good.
Natural.
Yeah, somehow.
Oh, yeah. And then, so did you have... Because I've got like guitarist heroes, like Kerry King, Jeff Hanneman and stuff like that from Slayer and stuff. So did you have any kind of bass heroes to like go off, or did you have like a, like people when you even go to like choose a guitar, you've got your special blend of guitar. Like I'm like I've got to play an ESP Super Strat. It's got to be black. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I always like seeing the Fender
Yeah.
jazz basses, those kind of ones. So I got to pick up a Fender bass. It's a P bass. That's the one.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's like, and I guess all of us in the band love straight from the path. So that kind of like chunky tone from hearing them play their recordings is just that kind of sound, and always kind of strive to have that kind of sound as well when you've only got one guitarist in the band, that you've got the bass as not just sitting in the background, that's actually helping drive the whole sound. So yeah.
I don't think I've ever been in too many 4-piece bands, but when I do come across them, the bassist has always got a different tone, right?
Yeah.
It's like usually more of an electric tone. It's more like a gained up crunchy tone.
Yeah.
All right. And what so P bass, and what are you playing through? What are you tuning up to a show with?
Used to use Jared's rig, which was pretty sick. It was like Sansamp and a wireless unit in there and noise gate. But then I just recently got a pretty much a Dark Class knockoff. It's like called Demon Effects pedal.
Ooh, the Demon Effects pedal.
Yeah.
Does it sound pretty mean?
Yeah, it sounds pretty sweet, because Jared, for the recordings for Amanaki, has a we were good.
Yeah.
Jared, for the recordings, has a simulator of it. So he's like, "Yo, bro, this guy's selling on a Facebook Marketplace. Bought it." He literally sent me the settings that he uses on the simulator. And I dialed in, and I was like, "Yep, sounds good."
Great.
So, yeah, it's just, again, nice chunky tone. So
It's cool playing around with gear. There's so many pedals out there. The classics though, Sansamp, MG81. Yeah, everyone's like pushing Fishman's hard, and just like, nah.
Yeah.
Like my hot rod, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like my classic, I like my FDRX7, like my rotary. I don't want any of this hybrid shit. But I am actually a Prius owner, so that's actually bad. It's a bad call. But it is fun. It is playing around with stuff. I do prefer, everyone that I've been around always have picked up that Dark Glass stuff since it like kind of first picked up, and then I've always gone back to the Sansamp and picked up the rack Sansamp and
that's what I've got.
Just a bit of that.
It's mean.
I think maybe it's the first thing that you hear. So maybe the first bands I heard had 5150s, and they were playing through EMG 81s, and the bassist had a Sansamp, and that's just what I'm used to.
Yeah.
It's like my kind of home tone sound.
Yeah. But Dark Glass have definitely made like the bass tone, I don't know, maybe like more achievable. I don't know. Like I feel like going back like 5-10 years, like no one, like especially in the local scene, like it was just like, bass goes into the amp,
Yeah.
And then like now everyone runs like a Dark Glass something, you know? Yeah.
Well, they made such a cool form factor when they've got the heads that have the power amps in them, and like 900 watt, and everyone, you can just buy something that has longevity. We're talking about buying something that lasts. Like if you're going to buy a 900 watt head, that's going to power an 8x10 if you ever come across one, which is rare.
Yeah.
Unless Mikey Shields is playing your show and he's brought all his whole rig.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then playing as a 4-piece, have you guys never contemplated 5?
Well, since we have our second guitars go through tracks, now it's just like, it's pretty solid, and then it's not having to, shove an extra person in the vehicle if you're going down to Wellington to play a show or something like that.
All about budget, eh? That person, you see that person comes along, and you just see them as like a dollar sign.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, man. It's one of your mates too. Like, yeah, that'd be real cool if you come played for us, but it's just going to cost too much.
Exactly.
Well, we jokingly said that now we've got the tracks, we could just have, if we got mates at Wellington, just rock up and be like, yo, just air guitar along to it, pretend you're playing. We look like a 5-piece, but there's just the other guitars going for tracks. I
was going to make a joke about the best set I ever saw you guys play. Put your fingers in your ears, Jethro. Was the Handtown Smackdown set where you put the drums through the aux cord? Bro. I cannot tell you how good, like, compressed and mixed drums sounds coming through the PA of, like, a band. Like, bro, you can't beat it.
Yeah. Awkward subject, but it was talked about as a band about how good that show was, how tight that show was. But we love you, Jethro.
Bro.
No, you
don't have to go much faster. That's funny.
Yeah.
But it was a time. All right, back to the EP. So I bring up Embers.
Yeah.
Next single out is Consequences.
Boom.
Well, so we've talked about recording the EP, and then you do all the mix and the master. And it goes to Luke for the mix and the mastering, and then it goes to Nate to release
Nate's kind of
from
like
North
the
Supply?
fifth member of the band. But like the instrument he plays is admin.
Yeah. True.
The rest of us are like just shocking at that, but he looks after like all the social media stuff for us, makes everything look pretty. He tells me what content to make, and then we make the content, kind of thing. So he makes up all those visuals and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what's the plan for the release? Is there a tour?
We got a few shows, like the weekend before and the weekend after. Hopefully have some more stuff lined up for the rest of the year. It's one of those like mean timing things, but we're dropping the album, and then not long after, Ethan's heading off to Europe, and then when Ethan gets back, I'm off to Japan, and then then April's off to the US. So busy end of the year individually as a band. But we got some stuff lined up and amongst and stuff. So should be good.
No way. I saw you post up that you were going to go see Pint Glass and like
Street Soldier
and stuff.
Oh, I'm so keen.
Yeah.
And then I'm catching North Lane with 1056 and Novelists over in London as well.
Oh, cool.
So it'll be a good time. But
Imagine being in a city where just like all of your favourite bands pass through.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I laughed when I booked the holiday. I was like, cool, is there any shows going on? And managed I just when I saw Pint Glass pop up, I'm like, that's gonna be sick.
I met the singer of Pint Glass at Ben, I think his name is.
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah, Ben at our London show.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, he's the man. I've been keeping in touch with him.
He's in Bound and Fear as well. I think that's his other band he sings in.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty good. Yeah, cool.
Man, it's I guess we could pivot a little bit to being a band in New Zealand. So taking right off from you going to London and seeing like 6 bands. Isn't it crazy that you could like listen to like music for like pretty much the whole of your life here in New Zealand and like not see a single band in real life?
Yeah, it's nuts. That's why it's like, I mean, I stoked that I got to go to like 3 of the Unify festivals in Australia when they happened, because then it's like got to see a bunch of bands that most of them have not come to New Zealand or wouldn't probably. And it's tricky living in New Zealand. And I mean, back in the day, more bands came through, like some of the shows you went to back in the day when I was still not 18. Oh, that's great. Say otherwise, mate. So it can be tricky. I mean, I see all the time Australian tours get announced, and there's always the same comments of, where's the New Zealand show? And it's like, it's not going to happen. Sorry, guys.
And that's the end of part 1 with Amanaki. So we sat down on my couch here in Grafton for about 3.5 hours, and there is no way that I'm, 1, going to post all of that interview. I'm going to cut heaps of shit out of it. But 2, probably not going to sit down for that long either. So I split this one up into 2. So next week I'll release the second hour, and that is full of more entertaining banters and behind the scenes of Amanaki. If you didn't know, the podcast is now available on Spotify. So I uploaded on Spotify with the video. Everything's the same. So if you don't want to watch on YouTube or you've got ads or whatever, it's ad-free. Well, if you've got Spotify Premium, it's on ad-free on Spotify Premium. I also managed to get it up there on Apple Podcasts as well. And last up, if you want to support the channel, you can by heading to the Xile merch store. I've got some new t-shirts down there. You can get cool designs like this, and this dope new Urban Camo hoodie. And with every order, I'm going to chuck in a free sticker pack for you. Also, if you didn't know, our next shows are with Alpha Wolf and Invent Animate in mid-August. So if you want to pick up a ticket, you can as well from the website below. Thanks for checking this out. I'll see you next week for part 2 of Amanaki, Sweet Dreams from Grafton City. I'll see you next time on the Kiwistyle podcast. Oh, this camera's a bit closer to the screen this time.